Hello everyone, Bone Harvester here. Let's start a new video series in this video about right liver attack. And as you know, some strong players and some chess publishers talking about they said right liver attack is done, it's refuted. Yes, I can understand their opinion and their point, but right liver attack is still a dangerous and deadly opening, and I'm sure about it. If white plays accurately, this opening can be very dangerous for black. And I prepare it complicated repertoire for white and very detailedly analyze it. And after this video, with the starting this video, I will share my analysis and repertoire video by video. Let's start from Queen B8 main line and start talking about variations. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop C4, and Knight F6. As you know, it's known as two knights defense. And after that, Knight G5, and Knight G5 is right liver attack. After D5, E takes D5, Knight A5, Bishop E5, C6, D6, BC6, and Queen F3. I recommend here Queen F3. Here, white can play an 8 move, Bishop D3, Bishop in some moves Bishop E2, but I recommend here Queen F3. Queen F3 is a little bit tricky because of Queen F3 is not most popular move, and that's because you can catch your opponents with off guards, and also Queen F3 has some strong ideas I will explain in this video. For example, I want to say something. If black develop its own bishop from B7, you will use light squares on king side with queen. If black don't develop from B7 its bishop, and then after knight bishop E4, D3, and Queen E2. Queen E2 is a nice defensive move because also attacking E file and hiding from E2 square. It will be very good. You will see in variations. Then let's take a look and let's start. In this video, we will take a look and inspect two variations. One, Queen D5, 8 Queen D5. It's not popular move, but I just want add here maybe sometimes and someday someone play against you. And after that, the main variation, Rook B8. Rook B8 and Bishop E7, strongest options in black in this variation, and also these options always playing by strong opponents. That's because white must know how to play against these moves, and white must prepare detailedly these two variations in knight a4. Okay, let's take a look. Bishop e2. And now black can play four options here, and before starting checking side variations, let's talk about black's game plan here. Black's game plan is black is pawn down, but yes, black has some lines, files, and open diagonals. Black's game plan is putting pressure on white's king side or on white queen, and develop its own pieces aggressively and try to find some chances, for example forks and tactical chances or checkmate attacks. It's black's main idea, and I think black's most strongest main idea here. I never don't like play against this idea. Rook lifting on b4 or rook lifting on b6. This idea is generally being dangerous for white because of uh, black has aggressive developed pieces and also one rook lifted on king side. Sometimes it's forcing white to make mistakes, but while I preparing these variations, I keep this in my eye and I try to prepare very understandable and very playable easy ways. Okay, then let's start. Let's start from bishop d6. If black play bishop d6 here, d3 after queen c7, it's understandable move, preparing e5, e4, e5, e4 move and using this diagonal in later in future in possible time. Knight c3, developing and protecting central squares. Castle kingside. Knight g e4, knight e4, d takes e4, important. Preventing for f4 and using for d file, opening d file for white's use. Knight b7, castle kingside, knight c5, and after b3. In my opinion, in this position, after b3 move, black's all of initiative is vanished. Yes, still f5 is possible, but after f5, black don't have very deadly threats. For example, checkmate threats or something like that. It's very playable position after bishop e6 and let's take a look engine. What engine says? I wonder engine of evaluation. I don't remember what engine says for this variation, but I I'm sure about it. 1 point more white must better here. Yes, as you can see, 1 point and 1/2 points white better here. The game plan is, as you can see, white its development it solved its own development problems. This bishop can develop from this diagonal and this diagonal is easy, and also bishop is protecting c4 square and knight d5, knight d1, knight e3, and knight c4 is possible. Or if black move its own bishop, white can play instantly bishop c4. And one more thing, f5 square is controlled and white can go h5 with queen. If something happens, white can go queen e2 and defend its own king side. It's possible. That's because we can say white's a little bit better here. Also, black has damaged pawn structure, as you can see, isolated pawn, and white is pawn up, and also white's pawn structure is not damaged. For example, if black play f5 in some moves later, after take on f5, this pawn will be isolated 2, isolated, 3, isolated pawn. If white survive from black's king side attack, it's possible. Engine says white is completely better here. It's meaning black has no deadly threats. So endgame will be complete winning for whites. Okay, let's take a look side variations here. 9 bishop d6, d3, and main variation is this bishop d6 variations. Main variation is queen c7, but white can play bishop g4, and I don't like this move because I must move my queen to d2 for protect and defend queen. So That's because I think you don't like to. That's that's because I want to show you earlier than other moves. Queen e3 and knight attacking queen, as you can see, and queen d2. Yes, queen on d2 is pretty safe, but f3 was better square for queen, but now it's preventing bishop's development, and d2 square is not the best square for queen, of course. And but this queen attacking knight from here, and enemy queen is binded a5 knight. It's a single benefit from queen d2, and second benefit is e2 bishop attacking g4 bishop right now. Black has play with g4 bishop again. Why? Because as you can see, and as you can know, White's game plan is putting pressure on White king or queen, and trying to find some attacking chances or tactical chances and win game. If White and Black exchange pieces recklessly, this game will be easy win for White, because White must try to exchange pieces for decreasing enemy pressure on its own camp. Black must hold pieces in game. Black must avoid exchanges for squeezing White's position. For example, look here, pieces are very squeezing White's position and forcing White to make mistakes and making its job more difficult. Its defensive job is more difficult. That's because exchange will be a mistake. Bishop must play, for example, d7 maybe, but Black is exchange here. D7 is not better, but engine says exchange here. But if I play with Black, I'm sure about it, I can play an a move which is avoid exchange with this bishop. I can understand why exchange here. It's Black wants take don't lose initiative, because after that White must take on e2, and still Black has the move, and castle kingside, rook lift, and please something else. Castle kingside, knight e4, and knight f4. Yes, now Black has b file. Black can play f5. Black after knight f4, if White play take on f4, and f2 pawn will be under attack. That's because also not just f2 pawn, also after king rook e8, king and queen will be danger from enemy rook. That's because we don't need to take on f4 quickly. Queen f3 tryable. It's our how to say defense safe spot, queen f3 right now, because as you can see, Black has no light squared bishop, as we talked before. White queen can use light squares on king side safely. And also knight is attacking on d6 right now. Black must play with own bishop. If Black exchange some more pieces, Black's attacking chances will be vanished and game will be over for Black. Bishop c7, castle kingside, f5, attacking knight, of course, and knight c5. After knight d2, and then we kick back a5 knight from queen side, Knight can go knight c4, defending b2 square, and easily develop its own bishop. Everything is playable and good for white here. White has no any problems. Bishop g4 is not very good move because of forcing exchange light squared bishops. Okay, let's take a look other variation. We inspected bishop g4 and now castle queen sides. Sorry, castle king side. And knight e4, attacking knights and attacking bishop, forking. It's meaning white's forcing exchange to black. Knight f6, bishop f6. Knight d2. Knight d2 is good move because using the main defensive idea of white. Using c4 and e4 squares. c4 is always best square for knight in my opinion because defending b file and b2 square, b2 pawn, and it's freeing c1 bishop to game, developing game. c5, opening a long diagonal for attacking queen and using long diagonal with bishop. Castle king side, queen c7, and queen g3. Keep an eye on ba rook and c7 queen for maybe exchange chances will become. Bishop e7 and rook e1, knight c6. As we talked before, when knight goes away, white can use knight c4 efficiently. Knight c4, and right now as you can see game is completely playable and good for white right now. I think it's white has winning position for endgame because bishop pair lights minor pieces are symmetrical, rooks and queen, minor and heavy pieces, all of pieces are symmetrical, but just black has a little bit space advantage, and white is pawn up, and white's pawn structure is completely undamaged, but black's pawn structure is very bad. As you can see, queen side pawns are isolated, and after exchange e and d5 pawns, or maybe f takes e5, and white will a big queen sides pawn majority, 4 pawn against 2 pawn, and these 2 pawns are extremely weak isolated pawns. Okay, this is last variation after queen c7. Let's take a look and another variation after queen c7, main variation. And right now black can play knight d5 instead of castle king side here. Knight d5, knight g e4, bishop e7, and queen g3 again. Queen g3, keep an eye on b8 and c7 queens, and threatening with bishop h6 and maybe knight f6 in possible time. And of course, as you can see, this bishop can be useful from these diagonals too. And yes, maybe b2 is hanging, but for attacking chances we can sacrifice this b2 pawn. We are already pawn up, and it will be not a big deal for white. Okay, it's everything about 9 bishop d6 moves. Now let's take a look. Bishop b7. Bishop b7 is a little bit easier to play in my opinion because of as I said before, light squares are weakened, and white queen can benefit from these squares while running and defending king side and running away minor pieces. Castle king side, bishop e7, knight c3, castle king side, preparing h6, knight d5, and of course f f5 and mobile central pawn advantage. Queen g3, and as we talked before, and keep an eye on this diagonal, putting pressure on e5 pawn and threatening with d3, knight e4, queen h6, c5. One day, it's black's one of main idea using long diagonal with playing c5 and after knight c6 and knight d4. Understandable. That's because we will play from king side light squares and keep an eye on enemy king sides. Just we have to take care about c2 pawn. Maybe if attack black attack quickly c2 pawn, you can play bishop d1. It's not big problem. Bishop d1 is playable because bishop still attacking same diagonal and protecting c2 pawn. Yes, d3, very nice move, putting more pressure for preventing white's pieces development. For example, maybe now black trying to force b3 here for freeing bishop, but we will not play b3 because b3 is losing tempo in my opinion. We have to play some other moves, for example knight f3 for attacking e5 and opening bishop h6, knight c6, knight e5, knight e5, queen e5, rook e8 and queen f5. Don't be a greedy and don't try to take e5 with queen earlier because it will be very dangerous for white. Just try to take e5 with this position after exchanging pieces. And as we talked before, after rook e8, look, queen runs away from f5 square. It's light square. And c1 bishop, c8 bishop, not standing starting position. c8 bishop went a8. That's because these squares are little bit more useful for white. And let's talk about last position. Queen is very active, and in this position right now, bishop f3 can playable, b3 can playable, bishop g5 is playable. I can't find big problems here. I think we can say here white is clearly better here. Let's take a look a side variation in bishop 9, bishop b7, castle kingside, bishop e7, knight c3, and here black try to play c5 sorry, instead of castle kingside, bishop b5 check. Very important move, freeing e2 square for queen. Also queen h3 is tryable to not bet as we talked before. Kingside light squares are always playable, but after bishop e5 check, queen e2 can be a little bit more useful. Engine says a little bit better here. King f8, but if you don't remind and if you forget this move, it's forgettable. Just go queen h3, queen e2, h6, knight h3. As you can see, engine want to keep empty h3 square for knight. Oops, sorry. Knight h3, e4, d6, a6, bishop a4, take on d2, d3, queen d3, queen d3, c d3. It's completely winning position for white right now. White has no big problem, and white is pawn up. And here white's most important plan is trying to exchange with these 2 pawns with away, and after exchange these 2 pawns, game will be easy win for white in endgame, because after this exchange, as you can see, all of pieces are similar, symmetrical. There is no asymmetrical exchange trade. After endgame, white will have 2 pawn, 1 pawn, queenside pawn majority, and it's completely better for whites. Yeah, these variations are everything about 9 bishop beats bishop b7. Let's take a look another variation, bishop e7. Bishop e7 is a little bit more competitive and strong in my opinion, because bishop e7, rook b8, this kind of moves are strongest moves against knight a4, knight a5. I mean, when black plays knight a5 for attacking bishop, it's as you know, one type of variation attacking bishop, and other type is taking on d5 and knight sacrifice on f7. And this variation is completely different, and also its game characteristic is completely different. And in my opinion, black's best chances always in these variations. Queen a, knight a5 variations, in nearly all of variations, white always find a winning way. But knight f7, a little bit difficult for white in some positions. How to say, black find some ways for equalizing game. So don't forget, every knight e5 moves or variations, white has winning plans and winning game positions. Bishop e7, knight e4, knight takes e4, queen e4, castle kingside c5, bishop f3, bishop e7, and queen e2 again. E2 square is freeing by bishop f3, knight c6, c3. Now it's very dangerous because coming with fork, that's because we have to play c3. Maybe we can play rook d1, d3, and bishop e3, d4, maybe knight a3, knight c3, and after d4 quickly. This position is not bad. f5, d3, queen d6, rook d1, bishop e6, and after that, as you can see, queen c7 for avoiding pin on d3, and after that, with the idea destroying center with d4 in possible time. And one more thing, don't forget, e5, f5 is not very dangerous. F5 is always weakening e4 square, because black has no d pawn. That's because black always have to try e4 here, and after e4 and some exchange, this file will be open, and this diagonal open, knight d2, knight f1, maybe knight c4, and after some moves, white's position will be open and more defendable and more playable. Now it's looking close, but black has no chances or no strong attacks. For example, if black try to rook lift, easy. Bishop g5, game over after exchange, and game will be more after one more exchange, and game will be over for black. Black must hold its own pieces in game. Black must avoid exchange. That's because black's attack not very easy. Okay, let's take a look side variation in 9 bishop e7. Knight d5 here. This move is a reflexive move for black players because trying to attack with b4 pawn to queen side and b4 square to queen side and f4 square to king side. And when we see knight d5 move in this variation, we will play d4 for g5 square, and also trying to attack e5, f5, and as you can see, central pawns are under attack. Knight b4, attacking c2, we must defend c2 with knight e3, queen take on d4, castle kingside, and rook d1. Now game is open. Black has just space advantage, but white is not bad right now. For example, after queen run away, queen b6, knight c4. c4 square is protected by bishop and want to exchange. And after that, check, king h8 and queen e2. After h3, b3, bishop develops somewhere, and after that battery on d file or battery on f file, and it will be very playable for white. Okay, let's take a look at last variation, c5 here. Early c5, c5, d3. We can't check on d5 right now because rook is defending. d3, bishop e7. This is a strong variation in my opinion. Knight e4, and as I said before, rook b4 or rook b6, rook lifts ideas. Castle kingside, knight d5, knight b c3, knight b4, and as we talked before, if c2 is attacked and you have no chances for defense this pawn, bishop d1 is not very bad move. It's always tryable for defending c2 and after kicking back knights, and also bishop d1 is opening e file for rook. Rook g6, rook lift is here, and after that black will be try to attack king sides with some castle kingside, f5, bishop b7, bishop d7. It will be very difficult for white. We have to we take care of this variation. It's dangerous. a3, knight bc6, knight g3, castle kingside. And now as you can see, f5. Let's take a look. f5 is quick. f5 is impossible because of white's threatening with queen d5, trading queens on d5 square, and also knight g3 is opened e file, and after rook e1, e5 square will be under attack, and maybe b3, bishop b2, or after some moves I'm trying to find some ideas here, and yes, this variation is really dangerous, but I think black has no winning options. That's because you have to very careful about this variation always while playing strong opponents. it's completely equal. h5, queen e4, queen d5. As I said, engine is saying queen d5 is good move for trying to exchange some pieces, and maybe bishop h5 is good here. That's because two bishops attacking so much squares on king side, it's kicking back this rook a little bit outplay. Also king, as you can see, rook f6 is impossible too because of bishop g5. Yes, it's playable. After castle kingside, queen e4 or queen d5. After play with the idea bishop h5. Yes, okay. Now we inspected everything about 8 rook b8 move in this variation, and our main move is 9 bishop e2, and now we inspected 9 c5, 9 bishop e7, 9 bishop d7, and 9 bishop d6 moves and its own side variations. Let's take a look. Queen d5 move. Queen d5 is not very popular. It's, in my opinion, not very strong too, but let's take a look quickly because it's this variation has no so much variations. Bishop e2, e4 attacking queen, queen g3, h6, queen g3 because white must keep h3 square is empty, free for knight. Knight h3, queen d4, d3, trying to exchange bishop d3, and after bishop d6, bishop e3. As you can see, it's impossible because after some moves, black will be checkmated. Black must exchange queens here, but I remember this is completely blunder taken on b2. Let's take a look. Yes, queen d6, queen e1, and castle kingside for using a file. King in stuck center from queen d6, and after that in some moves after game will be checkmated, or black must give up some strong pieces. Yes, after exchange, bishop takes g3, bishop takes d4, and game is completely better for white. White is pawn up, queens are traded, and also black must run away from bishop. It's meaning move right in white's hand, and it can be changed everything, and also pawn structures. As you can see, weak to isolated pawn. White has pawn majority on king side. Yes, let's take a look side variations. Queen d5, bishop e2. Black can play early exchange here, but as you can understand, it's completely lost. What we said, black must avoid exchanges. Always black must avoid exchanges. And knight e4, and after some exchange, as you can see, white is completely winning because yes, black has a little bit space advantage, but this space advantage brings some benefits when you have strong pieces and strong threats while using this space advantage. Now black exchanged queens and piece in boards, just minor pieces and rooks here, and that's because black has no big threats. After knight c3 and castle queenside. After d3, black has no problem. White has no problem. Everything will be easy. That's because this variation is completely loose too. 9 bishop e2, e4, queen g3, and after queen g3, black can bishop d6 for attacking queen earlier. Queen h4, h6. This variation is dangerous, I remember. Why I added queen d5 variations, I remember right now. After h6, queen h4 is pinning h6 pawn. It cannot be takeable after d3 because bishop is defending right now. And bishop d4, knight c3 attacking queen, but it's pinned right now. But in future, queen will be under attack. Bishop f5, bishop d2, queen is under attack. Take on c3, take on c3, and e takes d3, bishop f3 attacking queen. Take back with bishop, and bishop e7, queen b2, castle kingside, knight f3, queen f, rook f8. This variation is single chance in queen d5 variations, and that's because you have to be very careful about this variation. Just you need to learn this variation, not important other variations. You can play without any variation knowledge, with variation knowledge other variations. But if you reminding this variation very well, it will be better for you. Okay, let's take a look quickly again. Bishop d6, and then it's very strange move. Everyone play here castle queenside, take on d3, take on d3. Bishop f3 is very deep engine analysis move. d2, bishop takes d2, bishop queen e5, bishop e2, queen b2, castle kingside, knight f3, and rook f e8. And let's take a look what engine says. I remember this variation, but I didn't remember engine analysis, but I'm sure white is completely winning here. Yes, as you can see, nearly 2 points better for white. Let's take a look other variations. Now queen d8 is possible, playable. I think I don't like queen d8, but queen d8 has an idea. Idea is avoiding attacks, because queen after knight c3, queen must run away somewhere. It's black choose running away earlier, as in Scandinavian defense. d3, bishop d6 attacking queen, bishop f4 trying to exchange pieces, because right now still rook on e8, e takes d3, queen takes d3, knight is protecting bishop, and also right now queen is pinned. Knight d5, bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, knight c3, and after that castle kingside, everything is okay for white. And castle kingside, bishop takes h3, but queen is defending h3 right now. Knight f4, queen f5, everything is okay. As we talked before, when c1 c8 bishop light squared bishop traded or go something else from c8 h3 diagonal, white queen can always benefit and use from light squares on king side. Okay, this is one variation. Let's take a look other variation. Now instead of let's take a look from here, d3, and we inspected bishop d6 here. Now let's take a look. E takes d3, e takes d3, bishop takes d3, bishop d4 check, of course knight c3. Maybe bishop d2 is possible too, because after knight c3 and after exchange on c3, white will again in the winning position, but it's a little bit difficult for human play because white's pawn up, yes, but white's pawns are weak as white's pawns. Similar. Bishop d2 is playable here too. Knight c3, queen e7, king f1, bishop g4, bishop e3. It's the idea of engines defending e file with bishop e3, bishop d6, bishop f4, and exchange after some exchange, castle kingside, h3, bishop d7, rook e1, queen c5, and queen a3. Everything is vanished. White is completely winning right now. But this variation is cannot playable without opening knowledge. This variation and 10 bishop d6 variation is important. Just you have to remind these two variation here. I think after queen take e3, rook takes e3, there's so much playable ways. Maybe play g pawn and king g2, or king d2 and rook e1. And this position is completely winning too. Let's take a look. It's completely winning. White's pieces are developed. White is 1 pawn up, black is 1 pawn down, and black's queenside pawns are weak. White has no big problems here. No big problems. No, black has no problems. Okay, as you can see, white is winning. Black has some problems here because of damaged pawn structure and weak development. Okay, let's take a look. Last one variation. Knight h3, queen d4, d3, and instead of e takes d3, bishop f5 here, c3, bishop d5, queen d5, castle kingside. A last chance for finding chances, maybe attacking king sides and try to find some chances. This castle kingside, queen side move is changing game characteristic for try to attack king side and makes game more tactical. It's single hope for black here in my opinion. Knight f4, queen d7, take on e4, knight e4, queen f3, and now as you can see, white has no problem because white solved its own development problems. Yes, as we talked everything about rook b8 move and everything about queen d5 move here. I hope you like variations and I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.